Good morning. Today is Wednesday, August 21st, and this is Wake Up with KERA News. Hi there, I'm Andrew Garcia. The sun's out today, and temperatures are expected to reach the high 90s. It's still hot, but at least we'll be in double digits for a couple of days. Let's get into the news to start your day. American Airlines has decided to suspend flights to Israel until March of next year due to the ongoing conflict. American and other prominent airlines began suspensions after the Hamas-led attacks on October 7th. Customers affected by the flight suspensions will be able to update or cancel their travel plans. Up next, residents in Fort Worth might see their water bills go up at the beginning of the next year. That's if the City Council approves an increase to water rates at the end of the month. The increase works out to be about 7% more than the current rate, and the city made this request as part of their capital improvement plan, which is expected to include upgrades to infrastructure. Well, training's underway now for grade school football, and so are concerns about concussions. You might think they happen more on artificial turf than natural grass, but a new study of middle and high school football players who've sustained concussions found just the opposite. KERA's Sam Baker talked to the study's lead author, Dr. Monroe Cullum, with UT Southwestern Medical Center.
It sort of suggests that maybe artificial turf has improved these days. What has changed?
Those of us that were on athletic fields many, many years ago recall that sometimes it was a very, very thin layer of fake grass over almost concrete. So it was very, very hard. And now most of the modern turfs do have some level of rubber or other padding underneath, although there's still a lot of variability.
Does this study suggest that artificial turf is safer?
I think that might be a little preliminary to make that conclusion, but the results did find that the symptoms were lower and less severe on the turf compared to grass. Now, just like with artificial turf, grass obviously varies tremendously from field to field, so that may play a role as well.
Why is natural grass a problem?
It's quite variable in terms of how well it's kept. How many bare spots are there? What is the nature of the soil beneath? Is it more clay? Is it more soft? Has it been watered recently? Is it hard? So just like with artificial turf, there's a lot of variables that go into differences in grass fields as well. But again, that's something probably merits some further study.
So what then should schools take away from this study?
It suggests that the nature of the football field should be looked at. They should probably be evaluated for how new are the surfaces, how hard are the surfaces, and review that periodically. If a school has turf that's very, very old, maybe it's time to look at a renewed surface that might be somewhat more pliable, more soft. And for concussion assessments, I think it suggests that we need to pay attention to what they hit their heads on and looking for the possibility of greater symptoms when they are playing on a grass surface. Although, as noted, the results are really preliminary with a pretty small sample.
You've been studying concussions for years. Are schools more mindful today about this than before?
Schools are definitely, and school personnel are definitely more mindful about concussions. The information has definitely gotten out over the last 10, 15 years about taking concussions seriously. I think more people are aware of what some of the signs and symptoms are, even at the parental level. The CDC has issued some really nice guidelines and things to watch for concussion. So I think that concussion awareness is at an all-time high, and there is sensitivity to that. I think people are being removed from play much more promptly than they used to be when there is a suspected concussion. So I think things are moving in the right direction for sure.
These are preliminary findings. So now where do you want to go with this study?
I think a major next step for us is just to add more subjects so we can get a much larger sample size to see if this trend continues. It would be great for additional studies to start recording the nature of the playing surface, type of turf and type of grass, although that's a little bit beyond what we're going to be able to do in our study. But we hope it stimulates more thinking about factors that may actually affect concussion rates and concussion symptoms in our youth.
That was KERA's Sam Baker speaking with Dr. Monroe Cullum with UT Southwestern. Health officials are seeing an uptick in a respiratory virus called parvovirus B19 this back-to-school season. Most folks don't need to worry, as symptoms are typically mild and recovery happens on its own, though pregnant and immunocompromised people are recommended to seek medical attention if exposed to someone with the virus, as they can encounter complications if infected. In children, the virus can cause a facial rash, which is where its unofficial name, slapped cheek disease, comes from. You can find a health advisory and guidance on prevention at the CDC's website. The Dallas Wings lost their game against the New York Liberty last night, 94-74. The Wings had hoped to rebound following the mid-season Olympic break with the return of their star forward Satu Sabally, but despite strong play from Sabally, the Wings have lost their last 2 games and are towards the bottom of league standings in 10th place. The Wings and Liberty face off again tomorrow evening at 6. You've got a few more days to check out the artist exhibition Tailspinner at Arts Fort Worth. The 2-person show explores themes of memory and fantasy, sadness and solitude. For more information and other things to do, visit kera.org/calendar. Thanks for listening to Wake Up with KERA News. I'm your host, Andrew Garcia. The show was produced and edited by Shardae White and Rebecca Moore. For more news in your inbox, visit kera.org/wakeup. That's where you can subscribe to the Wake Up with KERA News newsletter and hear from our colleague Catherine Hobbs. Connect with us on Facebook, Instagram, and Threads at KERATX, and we'll see you tomorrow.